Now, my next guest this evening has started a business just within the last 6 months. And in her business, she hopes to provide business development advice and support and mentoring to female entrepreneurs in particular. Lee Parker Bond is the lady behind Pigeon Media. Lee, you're very welcome to the programme.
Thank you, delighted to be here.
And thanks for travelling in from Milltown today.
Not a
as
problem.
Well. Now, I suppose I want to share with the listener a little bit about your background and I suppose why that you took the step to start your own business. And I suppose in your own experience, you're sharing that now with those that you're mentoring and helping. So I suppose take us back a few years to the beginning. To the beginning of your Kerry experience, at least, I guess.
Perfect. Okay, so in 1997, I came over on holiday, as you do, with my son's father, and we decided to move over, which we did the following year. A month later, my son was born, so he's a true Kerryman. About 3 years later, I left the relationship. It was extremely bad, had no confidence from it. But I started an animal charity, which got me to meet people as well. And over a short period of time, I started to make friends and everything. And about 8 years after that, I thought I really want to help animals and wanted to learn how to make documentaries. And I wasn't getting any younger, and I thought I need to get a better education as well to earn a better living. So I took a degree in the IT Tralee in TV, radio, new media, broadcasting, and subsequently went on to do a master's in creative media. Obviously, things have changed. I'm not involved with the animals as much as I used to be. But what I found when I was in college was I was mentoring ladies in particular. They'd come in, the first few months, I don't know if I can do this. And then I'd share some of my own personal story of a lot of obstacles I've gone through in life. And they could relate to me. And it gave them the confidence to go on. I'm not saying that I'm the main person to help them, but I did certainly help them part of the way. And I got such fulfilment from that. So after my master's, I decided to teach for 6 months, which is what I did in a secondary school. Loved it. But again, I was helping on the sideline. And I decided that there seemed to be a need for helping female entrepreneurs. And I'd heard so many stories of the ladies, I haven't got the confidence like you. I'd share my story. This was going on for so long. And I just bit the bullet and decided to set up Pigeon Media, which was launched in November last year. Jimmy Deanahan kindly came down, and I haven't looked back since. Absolutely love it.
Now, aside from sharing your personal story and kind of woman-to-woman level, and I suppose that inspires people to say, look, it doesn't matter where you've come from. If you really want to do something, to set up your own business, you have the credentials, you've put in the work, there's no reason to stop you. But I suppose from a technical point of view, as you mentioned, you have your degree and your master's in the media field. But what else do you help people with, potential clients with?
Okay, the other thing that I do, it would be the mentoring aspect. I'll give an example of a lady I met. What happened was I was at another business launch and a lady approached me. She'd heard me on the radio last year sharing a very emotive story, a lot more detail about my own life. And she asked, could she send it to a friend of hers who has had huge obstacles and no confidence, extremely talented. From listening to me, she had the courage, as she said, to meet with me. And 6 months later, I got a phone call to say that she was launching some of her work. I don't want to mention any names because she'd be extremely embarrassed. But to see that, it just gave me so much pleasure. So mentoring would be a huge thing. But I suppose there's a lot of things that I do, but I kind of, that's why I say a business development. So if somebody isn't in businesses yet, I help them from start to finish, from business plans, financial forecasts, website design, branding, up to a business launch if they want that. I also get them involved with networking events. If I'm not at seminars, I'm on courses. If I'm not on courses, I'm working. And I always would contact those people to let them know. And I help them with facing their fears. There's just so many ladies that have a lot of blockages. They're scared as well.
And do you think this it really affects women more than men, and why so do you think that is?
In all honesty, yes, there are men. I have met a few that have that. I'm not saying.
And you're not going to turn away men either.
No, absolutely not. But it is a lot of women. They'd come to me and say, I couldn't do what you do. You're confident, you're this, you're that. And so that's why I end up sharing my story. only recently, a few months ago, there was a lady saying, oh, you know, I'm a single mother. I really don't want to be like this. I need to work. And I said, well, why don't you go on the back to work? Yeah, but what if it fails? I'm trying to change their mindset. I said, well, listen, do you want to be where you are in 2 years' time, the way you are now? And they said, no. I said, well, go for it, because at the very worst, you'll get financially supported by social welfare, which nobody wants. But I said, you don't want to look at that anyway. Your business idea is a good idea. Go for it. You don't want to be on your deathbed and say, I've regretted not trying. But it's once you face your fear and do it, it honestly does get easy. It's the same with public speaking and everything.
And, you took the decision to go back to college and to educate yourself. Was that a difficult decision for you to come to, and to, because I suppose there's financial considerations when you're doing that. And as you said, you were raising your son as well at the time.
It wasn't a difficult decision. I'm the kind of person, if I get something in my head, I'm going to go for it, because of what had happened to me up until I went to college with my son's father and other things. I was so strong and I had nothing to lose. I'm not going to get emotional, but I'm taking myself back now. As I said, there's a lot of emotive stuff going on there in the background.
But talk to me about being a mature student. How was that? It
was grand. I mean, as I call the lads, the girls and guys, the young ones in my classroom, I remember one girl was saying, Jesus, God, look, she's certain age. I said, oh, I'm her age. She says, no, you're not. She says, anyway, you're one of us. So no, I was part of the, I'd go out with them occasionally. It was really good.
And I guess, there's less of maybe a differentiation between, undergrad, your typical student in inverted commas and a mature student now, compared to maybe a pre-recession.
Definitely.
Because I suppose education is a lifelong thing now, and people take no notice of people maybe going back, retraining, re-educating, changing their career paths. And because of the recession, it's been a necessity in a lot of cases. So I guess it's not such a difference as it once might have been.
I agree, yes, definitely. I suppose what I would just say to people, if you really, really want to do something, just face your fears and do it. But some people think that they never can. So the way I can help them with that as well is going to a boot camp. Like, I'm doing a boot camp at the end of May, breaking the networking barriers, and that's all talking about fear and facing your fears, and again, sharing my story. So
okay. And then the other side of the business is, because you've the media training background, you talk about developing social media presence, your website, and all of that kind of, I suppose, nuts and bolts side of the business as well.
I suppose the website part of it is what's extremely important to mention from my experience. And the current clients that I have, there's a lot of people that do not want. Firstly, they say they're not technical, and they might not be. Secondly, they say the web. You see, it's finances for a lot of female entrepreneurs as well. So if they want a website, it can be extremely expensive, and because they don't know how to code. The software that I use, you don't need to code. So I've got about 3 clients at the moment that are well into doing the website, and they're delighted. So all of that, I offer the training for them to do that. So I encourage them to do their own websites, because it's inevitably
cost effective.
And it's the same video, online video presence is extremely important. So, for example, next week for the Kerry Business and Women Network on Thursday evening at Fells Point, I'm speaking there, and it's entitled The Visual Touch, whereby I'm going to give them reasons on why they need to use video, what softwares they can use, extremely cost effective. And they are, even if you're not technical, they are very user friendly. And I've seen ladies saying, I could never do that. Then they see the software. Oh my goodness, it's so straightforward. The other thing, what you can get out of it, and I've seen people, like there was one lady I was mentoring, she's up for a couple of awards now, which is great.
Yeah, so you can take pride in yourself, and of course in her doing well out of it as well. And just to go back to the online presence and having a website that is user friendly, just from your own point of view and from your client's point of view as well. Just I was looking at your own website prior to the programme this evening, and what I noticed on your website, and it was said to me before by another guest on the programme, is when you are putting together a website, if to have pictures of yourself or your staff, and so people feel like they can see you and know you, rather than having, you know, generic pictures of people or no pictures, and going down that route. And I know that can be a stretch for some people who are quite private, and perhaps they want to keep their business separate to themselves and their private lives. But it makes you, I think, instantly a bit more accessible if they can see you and what you're doing, and it breaks down barriers, I guess.
Absolutely, and this is why I want to do a boot camp on how to do video and edit. Very user friendly, as I said. Yeah, I mean, I could give comparisons. For example, photos are great. I'm one of these people. If I'm on a website, I like to have a face to a name. Nobody wants to be consumed with a lot of information. On some websites, yes, but not for everyone. Things like if you offer say a 2-minute tutorial once a week to give somebody a taster, give them soft offers as well. People love receiving things that are for free, things like ebooks. Let people know, give them that information, share that information with them. That's what I'm about. If I could do this for free, I would, honestly. But it's just sharing that information, having the visual presence, but it's also knowing how to use it. That's where my creativity comes in. I help people bring out their creativity. Facebook advertising, for example, it's one thing knowing how to do video, but the other thing is, how are you going to get that person who you want to look at your video to click the video? So, you know, what is going to be that first thing? Do they know they can take a screenshot? And then a lot of people don't. So I can show them how to do screenshots, how to make the best use of video.
And if you are going to use the video, to make it as high quality as you can, because, you know, you don't want to put up something that looks amateurish, because people won't spend the time, and it could turn them off.
Well, smartphones and everything are great for video. You know, the quality is very good, so...
Yeah, exactly. Well, technology is brilliant these days, at the touch of most people's hands.
Yes.
Lee, we're going to have to leave it there because we're out of time. The break has caught up to us. But Lee Parker-Bond, thank you very much for talking to us. If anyone wants to find out more about Lee and her business, you can go to pigeonmedia.ie. Time for another quick break.